5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. Now, here's Tom Silverstein.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. And boy,
Maybe
do we have
16
more
questions
than...
today.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions for you.
Take it easy on me. Take it easy on me.
You better have some answers, too. Jeez.
Don't make me call Janet. She said, be nice to me on losses.
I've seen some bad Packer losses in my day.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that Philadelphia game. You guys lost in like 9... No.
Oh, the other one.
What was it, like 1997? Mm-hmm. You thought you guys were going to go undefeated or something.
Oh,
and Ryan
yeah.
Longwell missed that field goal. Indianapolis, that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, just
4th and 26, the TO game, on and on and on.
Yeah.
I'll break it up with my therapist.
This, this is a regular season game, week 3. Yeah. It's AFC team. It's not the end of the world. But, boy, for a team that, here was my thought on it, and then you can let me know what your thought is that Philadelphia's down how many points? 6 points or whatever.
Yes.
And, the Rams are about to, they're up by 1, and Rams are about to kick a field goal to win the game, and they blocked the field goal and returned it for a touchdown. I mean, that's what great teams do. And
you find a way.
You find a way. Yeah. Even when you're playing your worst.
Terrible.
You find a way to win. And the Packers found a way to lose.
Yeah, being up 10 going into the 4th, a defensive struggle that should be enough. 13 unanswered points in the 4th quarter. Matter of fact, the Packers didn't score a point in the 1st and 4th quarter, 2 of the most important quarters out of all 4. And to be honest with you, it was a lot of great things that you did. Mainly was on defense. But the thing about it that's frustrating, that gives you heartburn, is this is a team, Cleveland, has a 40-year-old quarterback who's really in turmoil because and we knew they had the #1 defense statistically coming in, Myles Garrett. We knew all of that. But Tom, the disappointing thing was this is all self-inflicted because you would think at some points, please stay tuned for X and O's, because the interception to me that was a head scratcher, because you would think that Jordan Love is not a young quarterback. He's been there for 6 years. He knows, and even if the coach takes the blame on the call, it's up to me. I get the last say so, because I have to implement my, everything, my mechanics, thought process, and control. So yes, okay, we call a pass. Whether you like it or not, I'm going through my progression. And worst case, because I know the situation, that taking a sack really ain't that bad. The worst is an interception.
Right.
But it seemed like to me that Jordan already had his mind made up. Matter of fact, both Jordans had a tough weekend. Love and, well, you could say a rookie, but 77 knows better, and we'll get to him later. But that, to me, Tom, was, because if they're going to the Super Bowl, Jordan Love got played at MVP caliber.
Yeah, that was a young quarterback mistake, and he's not a young quarterback.
No, not at all. He's seen that.
He can't make that play.
Because you can even see when you draw it up that he was already throwing before he even went through his motion.
And we'll show you that he had better options if he would have been patient. Now, I also am going to take a little bit of blame from him because I thought it was just a bad call. They didn't have to throw it there.
2 things can be true.
They could have run it. So there was 3 minutes, 18 seconds left. Cleveland has 1 timeout left.
Yes.
So if you run it, out of that same formation and you don't get it, okay, Cleveland has to use its last timeout. You punt, you got one of the best punters in the league.
He's averaged 53 yards a punt.
Yeah. So you put him, let's just say they start at their 25 with 3 minutes left, no timeouts, And that's to tie. That's not to kick a game-winning field goal, unless they go for 2 if they score. But it's 3 minutes. All the pressure is on them to score a touchdown. And
now, can I ask you? I apologize.
Yeah, no,
I'm
go
asking
ahead.
a question I should know. Do they have a clock management guy? Because at Florida State, we had a guy. All he did was tell Coach Bowden the situation. Now, Coach Bowden turned him on and off. But Coach Bowden would click it and say, okay, what do you think? Well, Coach, we should probably run the ball. It'll probably take it down close to the 2 minute, and we could punt it because our guy's on fire. And the defense is playing out of its mind, and they got a 40-year-old quarterback, so just run the ball. Do they have a clock management?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Every team in the NFL does.
Okay.
They have guys who study all the analytics and what are the percentages of running here, what are the percentages with there's 3 minutes left, all that kind of stuff.
So what that conversation was like, if you had to guess, be aggressive, keep your foot on the gas.
Right. I mean, ultimately it's LaFleur's call. That guy's not
he took
making the
responsibility
game
for
call.
it. He said it was on him.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, that was his call. I thought, that Cleveland's coming at you hard. Run a bootleg with Jordan Love. He had 2 successful plays with that, and that's one of those ones where, okay, if it's not there, throw it in the ground or something
the clock
like that.
keeps going.
Yeah, well, the clock wouldn't keep going, or maybe just drop down.
Yes.
And then, like if there's a guy waiting for you, get down.
Yeah. And I will say this, that's a great point, that one thing they did well that I was excited about, that Jordan was starting on the right and the side, pull it and run.
Yeah.
So remember against the Commanders, he just gave it off and they would just crash.
Yeah.
Now teams got to say, no, Jordan's going to probably pull it, so that end will have to, pay attention to him. Now Josh Jacobs can get loose, because 16 carries for 30 yards, that's unacceptable. I mean, you got to get the running game going, but I know they had some injuries on the offensive line.
They did, and it was clear those guys weren't ready to play. I mean, you bring it. First of all, Zach Tom shouldn't have played. If you get hurt on the very first play, you re-injure yourself on the very first play of the game, then you weren't honest with yourself that you were hurt and that, you could get hurt again. It just happened too fast.
So it was a setback there.
Huge. I mean, yeah. I mean, he probably felt pressure to play because Myles Garrett, they had to figure out a way to block Myles Garrett. Aaron Banks played and he only lasted a half. But take all that away, you only needed to hold on to a 10-point lead. You had a 10-point lead. All you had to do was not turn the ball over. And that just changed everything. And then, as we'll show in X's and O's, you got to watch X's and O's because it's very revealing. But the whole field goal thing was a mess, and it was. If you watch what we're going to show you, it was a progressive thing that Cleveland kept getting closer to blocking it, and then they blocked the field goal.
Now, it was 3 blocks this weekend, and you talked about Philly having a 1-point lead, possibly losing, but Jordan Davis blocks it and scores.
Yeah.
So, like I say, great teams find a way to exploit weaknesses, and maybe it's kind of a learning curve for these guys. Because I remember Carl Brooks blocking one in Chicago.
Yeah.
Last year. Was that? Yeah, it was last year. So you just can't take for granted that these kickers who are making it now, from like the kid from Dallas who they'll play Aubrey, he kick it from 65. Mm-hmm. I mean, so that's a real weapon. So McManus is a weapon. We have to use him, but we got to make sure that you're stable enough up front. And sometimes back in the 90s, they would have defensive guys will go in for some of the offensive guys because their technique was a little bit better to make sure you guys get
The
stabilized.
Packers have some defense. Nazir Stackhouse, the rookie nose tackle, is one of the blockers on the line.
Yes.
Another thing that stands out to me is, when is the last time the Packers made a big play on special teams, like a game-changing play?
Well, the couple walk-offs last year with McManus.
I don't know if I
but
can. Yeah.
I mean, they win the games. But I'll say this to your point.
But I mean, a block punt, block field goal.
Well, Carl Brooks blocked the one for Chicago.
Return. Yeah.
And the return was pretty good at the end. They brought it up to the 40. But again, on a consistent basis, because Versace was one of the coaches we sought after because he was a great coach, and their coverage units been pretty good. But that block field goal is almost embarrassing, because if he makes that, your defense is playing out of its mind. If you hold everybody to 13 points, the rest of the way out, you'll be the number one defense. And I hate to do this, but it takes away from a guy like Rashad Garrett that was playing out of his mind. But what I don't want is like Kansas City, when you see Travis Kelce and Andy Reid going after each other again. Stay together. Stay together, because you don't want the defense say, man, y'all got to score. The offense saying, we got it. No, that's a good thing about this team. They're going to stay together. But when they watch this film, they're going to be very, very upset before you move on to Dallas and say, we gave this one away. And that's what I put on whatever it's called. I'm going to still say Twitter. That Christmas came early. They gifted a team this win with block, field goal, interception, and you can't run the ball. Hey, last thing about the offense, what did you make of? And I don't know if it's true or not, but they say Matt LaFleur has 2 game plans, one without Myles Garrett and one with Myles Garrett. Because I've never seen that before. Is that common?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with something like that.
Yeah.
I think absolutely when Myles Garrett's in the game, you want a tight end to that side, or you want to make sure a back is to that side, or that you're sliding to that side. But you can't guarantee you're going to double team him every single time. I mean, Micah Parsons gets single blocks every once in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what he meant by that. Whether he really had a different game plan. I just know that whatever game plan they had, once they realized they couldn't block them, they were just searching for anything that would work. And he and Love have to figure out something they can hang their hat on.
Great point.
A screen pass. Keep throwing it in the flat to Josh Jacobs. Right? The bootleg runs. Keep doing that until you force Cleveland to stop.
But that was a weakness. Make Cleveland go sideline to sideline.
Right.
And that was brilliant by LaFleur. So, okay, the middle's clogged. I'm going to swing it outside. But a couple of times Jordan missed.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, swing out past him, missing him.
Yeah, not
that's a guaranteed
like
5 yards with a blocker. And then the tight end screen, they ran it one time. But I think that, yes, Matthew Golden led the team in yards, like 52 yards. But Jordan didn't even have 200 yards passing. I think that the entire offense, passing game, should be around Golden. Because this guy has 4 targets, catch all 4. The jet sweeps, he makes something out of nothing. Run deep, and one guy don't communicate, and it's a deep pass. And one more thing. So every time they don't motion, it seems like, because I remember telling you that on defense, if they never motion a guy, I feel like we got him. But every time you move a guy, I got to go from strong to weak, back to strong, back to...
Right.
And you don't need but one guy to get confused and don't hear the call. There's your big play. So I like the Wildcat.
It was unusual that they didn't motion.
Yes.
I mean, they probably motioned on every single play, but they did not motion on that 3rd and 3 where he threw the interception, which is a as you say, a head scratcher.
Yes.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered regarding the whole offensive day, but now they got to figure out how do they bounce back from this? Is it in the NFL? Every team loses some really bad game. You can't let it consume you. But they got to go to Dallas. Lots of fanfare with Micah Parsons going back. They got to refocus in a big way, right? Absolutely.
Because think about this: Dallas has one of the worst defenses this year I've ever seen. I mean, Caleb Williams looks like Joe Montana up against these guys, and then Chicago just destroyed Dallas. But the thing about it is, you go from playing two playoff teams. One of them was 15-2. One of them went to the NFC Championship game. You're probably the best in the league, and got all the great headlines. And 1 week you fall back to the pack. You could fix that by going to Dallas and just destroy Dallas. And Jordan Love always played well against Dallas. But the thing about that's going to give Dallas hope is they don't know. They're probably saying the Packers don't really know what they want to do on offense.
No,
they can't run the ball and they can't throw the ball at a higher clip. So we're going to just play our stuff.
They don't have an identity yet.
Yes.
I think you brought up a good point that I don't agree with the person, but I agree with the concept that they have to find a receiver who they can go to. I think it should be Wicks because I think he's more experienced and he's better after the catch. I think Golden is still yet to show that he can break tackles. He can, do things in the short areas, whereas Wicks kind of lives in the middle, and he showed that in the that one third down.
And he killed Dallas last time they played Dallas.
Yeah, so I kind of want to see if they start to emphasize him a little bit more, but they obviously missed Jaden Reed in this last game too.
Oh, no question. But I think sometimes it's a little pushback when you say who's the wide receiver one, and Matt and the coaches think that, well, it's by committee and we like that. Each week is a different guy. But even if that guy's 85, I mean, somebody needs to get 10 targets consistently to just break open.
Yeah.
If it's Wicks, I'm fine with that. I think it should be Golden. He gets 5 carries a game, 10 targets a game. The only thing I know is when you throw it to him, he catches it and does something. But now they got him on punt return. Sooner or later, he's going to break one. But the thing about it is, on offense, because we remember as a defense, we had the number one defense. And I used to always have these conversations with Brett. If you guys are struggling, we'll win the game for you. And if we're struggling, you got to win the game for us. Because I really felt like the defense played out of its mind enough. Even the 38-yard run, you got a guy ready in the hole that was unblocked and then couldn't make the play. Because Jeff Hafley is not going to be here for a long time. He's going to be a head coach somewhere. Because his game plan was out of sight. It was aggressive. The secondary was rotating properly. They did everything. Lucas Van Ness played good up front.
They did everything.
Some good stuff.
But what their whole focus has been since training camp, which is to turn the ball over.
More turnovers,
I mean, McKinney got that interception at the end of the half, but I mean, they did not, more than anything, they needed a sack fumble, something that would
change
really
the complexion
have
of
turned
the
complexion of the game.
Yes.
And so that was the only thing I thought was missing from their performance.
I get that, because, again, ultimately, it's our job to keep them off the board. But to your point, Flacco wasn't going anywhere. He's just going to stay there.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he threw it right when Parsons about to get him, he'd get rid of it. And I think you can see why he's the quarterback instead of the other two young guys.
Yeah.
He was lining guys up. Get over here. Stop. Motion. That's a lot of stuff you have to do. And I think the Browns said, sooner or later, one of the youngest teams in the league is going to give us an opportunity. Yeah. And we got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, with that defense, they're in every game. They can play against anybody.
Yes.
And if they can get something from their offense,
yes,
they're okay.
Yeah, I just like the rush. I like everything about the defense, but special teams and offense now got to get on board. And this is the first 3 out of 4 games on national televised game this week against Dallas.
Yeah, and it's their third NFC game.
Yes.
And as long as they keep winning the NFC games, they'll be all right.
Yes.
What would you tell Micah Parsons about going back to Dallas, about where his head should be at, what his mind, frame of mind should be? What would you advise him? Some guys get really fired up about that.
Yes, because each week you have a guy probably playing somewhere that you grew up, or like when it was me and Edgar when we went back to play the Jaguars. So it's still a game, but this is going to be different because not only did they trade you in the NFC, they really wanted to get rid of you and was saying that you were the issue. And for some reason they said you couldn't play the run. Well, you played the run pretty good here. Don't get distracted by trying to do too much. Mm-hmm. Do what you do, and everything else will work out itself. Because that offensive line cannot block him one-on-one. I mean, they're going to have opportunities. CeeDee Lamb probably won't play. But the running back they have, that guy's tough, runs it hard. Jake Ferguson is probably going to get a lot of the passes. He led the team this week. Dak will throw you one. So he's going to get a couple sacks. But what I'm saying is don't make it personal now. You're already a Green Bay Packer. Because sometimes when you do that and try to do too much, you go outside of what the team wants you to do.
Right.
And I think he understands that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, I think we covered quite a bit. Let's go to your prediction.
Well, my prediction has always been whenever they score 30 points, they can beat any team in the league. And I know people say, that's a lot of points. No. In this league, you have to score at a higher clip, just enough to say that it's not a shootout. So I'm going to go back with the Packers 30, the Cowboys 17, and got to get something, more turnovers, and you got to make field goals because their kicker, I said it before, he can kick it from 65 yards. So anytime they get around the 50 or past the 50, the Dallas is going to want to kick field goals.
Yeah.
So we got to be aggressive.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
And flush this game out your mind. Just flush it.
Yeah, and make sure you see X's and O's because we break down the interception and we break down the blocked field goal.
This may be the first time we talk about field goals.
Yeah, it probably is. All right, you have a few.
Yes, I want to thank Tostitos. Thank you for everybody that came out to Pick and Save. We had a lot of people there. You can get the Tostitos bag with the Green Bay Packer G on it. And matter of fact, if you see me in Pick and Save, I'll sign those bags for free. And go to my Facebook page or my Instagram, Leap3636, and find out where I'll be before the Dallas game signing Tostitos chips bags. I want to also, again, thank Pick and Save. You can go to Pick and Save /LeRoy Butler for all my recipes. I have a queso recipe that's very good. And again, when you're there, get some Leap vodka or my Leaping Lemonade. I did it with Robin Yount, and it's like the #1 canned cocktail. I'll get you some if you're 21. I don't know if you're 21 yet. Right. And last, I want to thank Visit Milwaukee. Anytime you're in the beautiful state of Wisconsin and you come to Milwaukee, go to visitmilwaukee.org, and we have something called Ask LeRoy. Ask me anything about Milwaukee, and I'll help you out. Thank you very much.
All right.
Now, will you be blogging? And
I will. I will be live in Jerry Dome I start about a half hour before the game, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. So be sure you join us, and don't forget X's and O's.
Yes.
We'll see you after the Dallas game.
Bye.